guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about starting over at 50 when things don't go as planned. And you know, we've seen this a lot among people that we know, and we're hearing about it more and more in our comment section on our videos. People just having to take a step back and be like, I've got to do something different.
Yeah. And we feel kind of like we started over at 50 because the life we're living right now, we both just turned 50 these last few years. It's so different than when we look back at pictures from 6 or 7 years ago. That feels like a lifetime ago. That it doesn't even really equate to what we're doing now. So the thing we want to tell you about starting over at 50 is that there is hope because the world has changed. If this was the situation you would find yourself in 30, 40 years ago, there would not be much hope because there weren't very many avenues or outlets for you to make a positive change in these, later years. And so that's a good thing because there is a chance to do something different. And if you are starting over at 50 or around 50, it means that you have lost something, or something that you wanted to get started never got started, and so you're starting over. But this can be a good thing because it does mean that you're no longer tied to the things that would hold you back. So let me explain that for a minute. And a lot of people say, well, I lost my job, or I lost this money, or this security, this pension I had. But those are the things that oftentimes keep people from making a bold decision, because we hear so often, well, I'm 62, and if I only work 10 more years, I will get this great pension. And so they say, I'm basically going to work till I'm 72 in the same job that I don't like. And it kind of confines them, puts the shackles on them. If you're in the 50-year age range and you don't have any of these things, you can go do whatever. So the world is open to you.
Yeah, I think that's the pivotal thing. People in our age range, we were alive when the internet was invented, and it just has really changed the world so much that it just has made things better for us and opened more opportunities for us.
Yeah, basically you hear people saying, now all you have to do is go do it. Decide what you want to do and do it. You can make just about anything in the world work these days, and there's probably someone else that has already been doing it. So you can follow their advice and do it as well. But let's go through what you would need to do to start over effectively. And the first thing is that you need to let go of the fears that other people have placed in you. Because a lot of the fears you have are not fears that you came up with or are even rational. They're fears that your friends, your coworkers, your family have let you believe, and they are simply not true a lot of the time. These can, rely around savings. It could be about your health insurance. It could be how prepared you are. Well, you're comparing yourself to basically your friends, your family, your coworkers, and they all have the same mindset. That's a very small slice of the world. If you actually open up your world and compare yourself to everyone else in the world, most of the world does not have health insurance. Most of the world has no savings. And so when you compare yourself to the rest of the world, you're actually way ahead of where everyone else could be. And so it's going to be easier for you to make it in the world once you step out of that little slice that you've been in most of your life.
Yeah, I think as Americans, we struggle so much with that keeping up with the Joneses, kind of thought process. And the Joneses are not the Joneses, they're the everybody else is in the world, whatever the equivalent for Jones is for anyone else in the world. It's just, you have to just kind of open your eyes to the fact that there's so much more out there. I remember when we were selling everything in our home and we were down to just, the last few things, and we ended up doing like an estate sale, and strangers just walk into your house and say, I'll take that couch, and just walk away with it. And the question a lot of people asked was like, oh, you guys are like so young. Why are you having an estate sale? Is this like a parent's home? I'm like, no, this is our house. We're just selling everything to go travel the world. And literally every single person tried to talk me out of it, which was so shocking to me. I thought people would be like, oh, that's amazing. You're going to have such a great time. So many people, were like, you're going to come back, in debt or without money or, sick, with dysentery, whatever. So many different things people said to me when they were walking through our home. Strangers don't even know us. And it was just kind of wild. And, just not letting those things affect us mentally, and not allowing someone else's fears to kind of enter your thought process.
Yeah, because those people have no idea. They've never done what you're going to do, so why would you listen to them? They have no basis of knowing what's going to happen. The second thing you need to do if you let go of the fear is to get out of debt. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Debt is going to saddle you. It's just going to make things more difficult. So if you have debt, that's okay. Start working on getting out of debt a little bit each month, and you will eventually resolve that. It's going to make traveling the world or some type of new relocation you do or whatever you decide to do a lot more easy to do.
Yeah, I think the financial freedom that you get from being completely debt-free is phenomenal. I don't think people realize it until they get to that stage where they say, we owe $0. That's it, we're done. We don't owe anybody anything. And it really just opens up a zillion doors for you. And once you get there, you don't ever want to go back. And you know what that feeling was like of being in those shackles of the debt that you had, and just knowing that you don't have that anymore hanging over your head really opens so many things up for you.
Next one is going to be to move some income that you have online. And that means, if you're basically working a job where you show up to a brick and mortar store and you have to work there, that's what you want to try to move online, whether that's through some type of side hustle or consulting or anything you can do. It's going to be easy if you take your income with you. And this is a tough one to do though, but it will take time. But there are many, many ways that you can move some of your income online instead of being tied to a location.
Yeah, and I think people get a little bit scared on this one because they think to themselves, well, do I have to, learn all this technical stuff? And they just get concerned about the technicalities. And there are, the cool thing is that there's so many incredible opportunities that are actually quite simple to move some of the things that you already do into an online, kind of basis.
For instance, if you're like a teacher and you want to do some tutoring, instead of doing that in person with the students, you could move that to an online tutoring platform. That would allow you, no matter what you decide to do the rest of your life, to maintain those clients throughout that lifetime instead of having to stay in that same location as your students. It would also open up your student pool to the entire world instead of who could just drive to you. So that is kind of a big one. Next one is going to be to start investing. And this is really, really important. Even if you are around 50, it is not too late to start investing, and you should start doing that as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think, again, this is another one that people get scared on. If you haven't already been investing, because of debt or finances or whatever, it is not too late in this age range to start investing. Just start reading things, start looking, take interest in it, and have your money working for you while you're on the road. And it's really going to make a huge difference for you also in that road to full financial freedom.
This next one is a big one for people. It's reduce your costs as much as you can in the short term. And so that means, while you're just doing what you're doing for your life right now, reduce the cost, reduce the number of candles you're buying, reduce, the lawn things that you buy, the decorations for the house. Those things really add up, and they really provide no long-term value to you. So if you can reduce just some of those costs, it will help you get out of debt faster, and once you're out of debt, start saving money for your new life sooner than you think.
Yeah, I think that is a hard one for people because, we are kind of really into, the consumer world. There's so many things available like, oh, if you buy two, you get one free. And then the next thing you know, you're 3 deep into a candle instead of the one that you originally thought you were going to buy. It just turns into this whole, kind of snowball thing. But you have to think to yourself, what I'm bringing in, is it going to leave with me, or is this just going to end up, in a closet or in the trash can or, whatever? just reduce those things. Start reducing what you're bringing into your home now, so that when you start to sell your things and, you know, start to minimize everything that you have, you're not going to run into the problem of, oh my gosh, I have an entire closet filled with, you know, lotions and body sprays. And I was literally blown away by how much Bath and Body Works products I had under the sink in the bathroom. I was like, oh my goodness, why do I have 7 of these lotions and 3 of them are not even open? It was really crazy. And you don't even realize you're doing it. I had no idea I was doing that until I was trying to get rid of them. And then I was like, holy cow, this is way too much crap.
Yeah, shoes, clothes, all these things. You know, now that we're living on the road, we've been traveling full time, we have to, because we have to carry everything with us everywhere we go, reduce the number of shoes and clothes that we have. And we finally realized we could have been living this way the whole time, our whole life. We didn't need 600 shirts and 40 pairs of shoes. And so if that's something that you spend a lot of extra money on, you can make that change now, and it will benefit you in the long term. The next one is going to be to start a side hustle. Look, this is going to be expensive to change your life, and you're going to want to make some extra money. You're going to be leaving behind a job potentially, or moving locations. You're eventually going to want to retire. And if you're starting over, you don't have anything, you got to make up a little bit of lost ground here. You got to make up for some of that time. A side hustle is the easiest way to do that. Now, there's a lot of side hustles out there. We've done a lot of them. There is one by far that stands head and shoulders above the rest, and it is YouTube. And YouTube has made us a lot of money. We well documented on this channel, we're making between $15,000 and $20,000 a month just on YouTube. So go back and see some of those videos if you want. But if you want to start a side hustle, there's been no better time in the history of the world to start this. Start YouTube. It is the one to go for. Don't even think about the other ones. Don't even entertain them. They are just nothing compared to the opportunity of YouTube.
Yeah, the opportunity of a lifetime, and honestly, the opportunity of a lifetime for people in our age range, which I think a lot of people are surprised about. We talk about the numbers behind that and everything in our YouTube course. We have a link for that down in the description. But we talk about that and all the numbers and the statistics behind that on YouTube. You will be so surprised at why it's so important at this age range to be doing a YouTube channel.
Next one is going to be surround yourself with those trying to live the new lifestyle that you are. So as we said before, there will be a lot of people that don't understand the changes you're making to benefit yourself, and they will try to talk you out of it. They will try to hold you back, and the more of those people in your life that you have, the more you will be held back by them. So you want to surround yourself with those that understand your new direction, understand your new vision. And once we did that, we were like just ready to soar, because everyone was encouraging us and helping us instead of pulling us back and tugging on us to not do what we wanted to do.
Yeah, now we're not telling you to like cut off relationships with family and friends, but just, you know, kind of keep in mind, you know, that if these relationships are not of a supportive nature and just continue to bog you down with the negativity, you may want to back off a little bit, or maybe just not have those discussions at all with those people if you still want to be in a relationship with them, and spend that time building relationships with people who are going to be a true support system for you. It makes a world of a difference to be able to discuss things with people without having to explain every single little detail, because you know the other person understands what you're talking about. So that's really a key thing in this.
Yeah, that's why on the 2 courses that we have, the YouTube and the Retirement Travel Jumpstart, we did create communities to go with them so that people can find other people doing what they're doing and ask questions, get answers, get help, get support. So links for those are in the description. If you're in the course, you're automatically enrolled in those communities as well, where you can get tons of help from people doing things just like you are. And then the 8th one and final one is to find a long-term solution that will sustain you. And this is the key, is finding a situation that will work long-term. That may be reducing your budget, so you may need to look at a different location to live. It might be in the United States, it might be in another country. There needs to be a way to kind of fund that. And so That may be a side hustle. That may be your job is now remote and you can work online. So finding a long-term situation that will sustain you.
Guys, we hope that this has helped you and kind of encouraged you and give you that little bit of hope for starting over, you know, in this age range over 50. If you have questions, leave those down in the comment section, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. Give us a like if you did and consider subscribing to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.